Richard Nixon lost his presidency over a bungled hotel break-in and 18.5 missing minutes of audio tape. He fell because the 1970s possessed a functioning institutional immune system. The press, the courts, and the public shared a baseline reality. When presented with undeniable proof of corruption, that system demanded accountability, and it worked. Fast forward to a fictional but highly calculated scenario set on January 20th, 2029. On day one of a new administration, 187,000 civil servants are erased from the payroll. Social safety nets are gutted by executive order. Armed checkpoints appear in major cities. And instead of outrage, the crowd roars with approval. How does a modern administration successfully accomplish in 4 weeks what completely destroyed Nixon's presidency in 4 years? Nixon tried to hide his corruption from a society that still felt institutional shame. The hypothetical 2029 regime succeeds by realizing those institutions are fragile and replacing that shame with the intoxicating spectacle of tribal grievance. To dismantle a republic, you have to neutralize the people who know how it works. Historically, career civil servants and whistleblowers are the ones who leak the memos and testify before Congress. In our 2029 scenario, the administration bypasses congressional hearings entirely. They use an algorithmic system dubbed Doge to scrape social media and assign loyalty scores. Anyone falling below the threshold is instantly locked out. Through Schedule F, institutional memory is wiped clean. Hyper-loyal tech engineers are slotted into agencies to write policy by prompt. By stripping away the institutional memory of the bureaucracy, the regime removes the internal mechanism that recorded the Nixon tapes. They are not merely firing people. They are deleting the concept of the citizen clerk. With the internal whistleblowers gone, the next targets are the external watchdogs, investigative journalists, and independent judges. Rather than locking up the press, the regime uses weaponized transparency. They take control of highly anticipated documents, like the Epstein archive, and surgically slice them up. These carefully curated files are then leaked. A judge ruling against a deportation order, or a reporter investigating no-bid contracts, suddenly finds their name attached to a devastating data drop, while loyalists are conveniently redacted. The regime achieves total compliance from the courts and the media without ever staging a mass arrest. They simply crowdsource the terror, using blackmail to make the public do the work for them. With the guardrails removed, the administration formally abandons the traditional rule of law. They openly import the Budapest model, borrowing the exact autocratic playbook used by Viktor Orban in Hungary. This framework allows them to legally hollow out the public treasury. Medicare, VA benefits, and Social Security are slashed to fractions of their original budgets. The resulting trillions are immediately redirected into tax holidays for loyalist oligarchs and massive defense contracts. The physical consequences follow rapidly. NATO is discarded as an obsolete treaty, and within American borders, biometric ICE checkpoints are erected in major cities to violently process anyone deemed politically inconvenient. To bridge the gap between these harsh policies and their ideological base, the administration provides a theological justification for the violence. The vice president brands the looting and the checkpoints as an act of providence, framing the regime's cruelty as a divine necessity. By successfully branding systemic theft as economic efficiency and state violence as a divine mandate, the regime immunizes itself against any remaining moral or legal challenges. Algorithms, targeted blackmail, and checkpoints are highly effective tools, but they are not strong enough to permanently dismantle a massive republic on their own. A transformation is taking place in the streets. People are no longer behaving like participants in a shared democracy. They are acting like tribal warriors. In the story, the most bitter irony is that everyday people, veterans watching their pensions disappear, and teachers losing their classrooms, stand in the freezing cold and cheer loudly as their own safety nets are stripped away. When politics is reduced to pure grievance, citizens will happily endure their own impoverishment, so long as they get a front-row seat to watch their perceived enemies suffer worse. We look back at Nixon and wonder how he fell so easily. The answer is that the 2029 system doesn't catch and punish the culprit because the public decided they loved the crime. The collapse of a modern republic doesn't require a military takeover or a secret midnight coup. It happens in the open, processed through the social feed, while the audience applauds. A democracy finally collapses when its citizens mistake the absence of resistance for consent. It falls the moment we willingly trade the boring duty of stewardship for the